at 6, is this one right now? At 6:04. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance with, let's do it. With Jen, okay? Go for it. Jen's got it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, let's go roll call.
Chairperson Richard,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Cohens, Commissioner Houston,
Here.
and Commissioner Suomi is not here.
All right. Oral communications. This is the time for the public to address the Planning Commission on items not on the public hearing portion of the agenda. After obtaining permission to proceed by the presiding officer, speakers should first state their full name and address for the record, although that is not required. The speakers shall limit their address to 3 minutes. Any public comments that are discriminatory, defamatory, or otherwise not protected speech will not be considered, consented to, or otherwise adopted by the Planning Commission in its deliberations and finding. As a courtesy to others, please silence your cell phones, electronic devices, and the Planning Commission strives to treat all participants with civility, and we ask that you do the same. Is there anyone who wishes to address the Planning Commission, again, on items not on the agenda? Oh, you think it's on the agenda? Okay, cool. Okay, so if not, then seeing no one else, I will declare I'll close oral communications. All right. Planning Commission consent calendar.
We have 2 items on the consent calendar. They're both minutes, April 16th, 2025. They can be done in one vote unless anyone has any corrections or anything to either one of them.
I was not present for the April 16th.
Okay, that's fine. You can we'll just mark you as abstain on that one.
Okay.
Okay.
I motion to approve both.
Okay.
And second?
Okay, Commissioner Houston,
Approved?
Chairperson Richard,
Approve?
and for the one, Vice Chairperson Cohens.
Approve.
Okay.
Okay. Do we need to do anything else with that one, or we get there?
No, that's completed. We move on now to new public hearings.
So continue public hearings. There are no items. New public hearings. I think that's you for the read. For new public hearings, I think that's your part, right? Or this is the time. Now is the time and place to open the public hearing to consider conditional use permit CU 2025-0002. Associate Planner Nathan Levy will present the staff report.
Good evening, Commissioners. So today we are presenting a conditional use permit for a smoke shop that's located at 14151 Hawthorne Boulevard. It's working on your screen, not on mine. Okay, so here we have our zoning map, which shows that it's located in C2 zone, which is our local commercial. It's also located within the downtown Hawthorne specific plan in a commercial designation. The C2 allows for special tobacco specialty shops with the approval of a conditional use permit, which is why we are here today. The project does it is located in a shopping center that backs on residential uses directly behind it. However, there's no access to those residential units from the shopping center without going along the streets. Here's our current site condition. As I said, it's located within an existing shopping center. It's going to be going into a corner of this center. There are a multitude of uses. They're all commercial. There's trying to have it written down and I can't find it, but there are several different commercial uses in the center. Next to it, it's relatively close to Rosecrans Avenue along Hawthorne Boulevard, so it's in a pretty dense commercial use. I don't know what exactly is going on, but it's not showing up. All right, so we'll start all over again. So Here is the site plan to give you a little bit of a better idea. It is located in the bottom left of this existing structure. It does appear that there's not that much parking. That's a little deceptive. If we look at this map, right under where the C2 local commercial symbol is directly to the left of it is a parking lot, which is dedicated to the use for that entire commercial center. Here is the floor plan that's being proposed. It's going to have a mix of accessories that'll be sold throughout. The cigar room is humidity controlled. It's not for actually smoking cigars. It's just to maintain them in good condition. The restroom is for staff only, but there will be storage. There will be tobacco and tobacco accessories sold throughout the store, with some minor refreshments and other paraphernalia. This is a very straightforward plan and proposal that they've brought to us. It's in a location that doesn't have any tobacco specialty stores nearby. And because of that, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission adopt a notice of an exemption and an approve PC Resolution 2025-06, approving the CUP.
Okay, thank you for that. Does the Planning Commission have any questions of staff? No? Okay, cool, I do. Can you go back like three slides? Right there,
Yes.
New Boutique Hotel.
Oh, I gave you an.
No, that's the next one, Commissioner.
Thought so.
Yeah.
I was wondering why that was there.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
Yep.
just wondering why.
I'm trying to sneak it by you,
Okay.
but you caught
Okay.
me.
Cool. Outside of that, so I appreciate that you mentioned. You know what? Never mind. We're gonna move on from that. I have questions, but I'll ask them later. Is the applicant present, and would they like to speak?
My name is Gargis Gad. I'm here for the CUB of the smoke shop. We have nothing to say unless you have any question to answer.
Any questions?
No questions.
First question, or one only question. Do you happen to operate any other smoke shops, other cities, other spaces?
Yes, sir. My applicant has multiple location. He has, I think, like 2 in Redondo Beach, and he has 1 in Fullerton, and I think 1 in Downey.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. We appreciate you for
Thank you.
being here for that.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who wishes to address the Planning Commission on this issue? Okay. Mr. McLean, there any documents for administrative record?
No, we have none.
Okay, any final comments on this one? Sounding like no one else but me has a question, so.
I just have opinions, but go ahead.
Oh, well,
They don't want to, that's okay.
they're kind of going to be both, so that's
No.
really what's coming both ways. So, with all due respect to the applicant, we really appreciate you coming in and doing that and providing this. I did want to ask this question directly of staff. Of the number of applications that we received, we're consistently seeing new businesses that happen to be smoke shops. I think I pointed this out. We had right behind SpaceX at the corner of El Segundo and I believe that's Crenshaw. We put a smoke shop on one end, and then literally right across the street next to Stizzy. So I just feel like I've seen a proliferation of smoke shops going on in a lot of spaces. We approved here on this dais the one that was on 120th that I think I've mentioned a number of times about the light that goes there. Then we've got there's 3 right there within we're a 6 square mile city. We have a large number of these. So I'm just wondering, is there a particular reason why you think that we're seeing this particular type of business use consistently coming, or like what?
Supply of customers, I suppose.
That's a fair answer.
This is not a use that we have a buffer around or anything, so they can be right next to each other, honestly. But certain uses we would consider imposing that, and this may be, but at this moment, we don't have a separation requirement.
Okay. Yeah, I think that might be a conversation for us to look into.
Sure.
Also because I know for other, I don't even want to call this like specialty or protect use spaces, like we wouldn't do 3 liquor stores right next to each other. I don't see the why we do this thing this way, so just kind of wondering.
Well, this conditional use permit process is an opportunity to deny it if you think it's too close to another one, but we didn't feel that way in our recommendation.
No, I think the staff report reflected like it's not in the same area. Now, I definitely would have had the same concern if you would have said, hey, this is on El Segundo and Crenshaw, then I would like, okay,
Yeah.
what are we doing? But clearly, if there's not one in the area, that makes sense. I just wanted to at least ask that question because I've been thinking about it for about a few weeks, and then this just happened to be here. Yeah, that's it for me. Anything?
This is basically, again, staff. I just was curious to know where we're going with all these same specialty shops and how many we can have in the city and so forth, but that's for another day.
Well,
We can put that in another agenda. Has nothing really to do with this applicant, so,
No, that's fine, though. I'll note that, too. There's no cap right now, so there's no separation distance, and there's no cap. Those are things that can be discussed at a future meeting.
okay.
All right.
No more questions for me.
All right. If there are no more things, nothing else on this issue, I'll formally close the public hearing on this item. Do I have a motion for these items?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, Vice Chairperson Cohens,
Approve.
Commissioner Houston,
Approve.
and Chairperson Richard.
Approve.
Yeah, this is approved.
All right.
The next item is design review application DR 2023-0020 for 4436 West Imperial Highway.
Now's the time and place to open the public hearing to consider design review application DR 2023-0020. Associate Planner, not Nathan. We will have.
Not Nathan.
Okay. We have a different one. We're gonna have Maria. My script says the wrong thing. It's okay. Maria will be assistant planner. What is it? It's not associate planner. Is it senior planner? Right.
Senior planner.
Yeah,
It's,
right.
it's because I'm technically on jury duty this week, so we put Nathan's name on there just in case I wasn't here.
I thought you weren't supposed to say that. You're supposed to be on jury duty.
Well, they didn't call me in today.
Oh, lucky. Lucky you. Okay.
They didn't call me in, so that's why I'm
Okay.
here.
Well, senior planner.
I'm on
Maria
call,
Maher-
I should say.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, senior planner Maria Maharick will present the staff report.
Good evening, commissioners. I will be presenting the new boutique hotel that is application DR 2023-0020 at the property located at 4436 West Imperial Highway. As you can see from the zoning map, it's on the corner of Grevilla and Imperial Highway. You'll see from some of the renderings that I'll show you later on, you'll see that it will say Grevilla Hotel. And that's mainly because it's on the corner of Grevilla and Imperial Highway. So this hotel is in the CR Regional Commercial Mixed Use Zone, as you can see from the zoning map. It consists of 5 lots. As you can see from the current site conditions, there are a couple of buildings on this lot that are vacant currently. It used to be a restaurant, perhaps a bar at some point, but it is vacant right now and it's not really utilized for anything, not even storage. So this is the current condition of the site, and as I mentioned, it consists of 5 separate lots, which the applicant will tie together through the process of building this hotel. So the new boutique hotel consists of 5 stories with a total square footage of 43,051 square feet, and that's throughout the 5 stories. 78 guest rooms are proposed with 80 parking spaces. The amenities are an outdoor pool, lounge, dining room, and fitness room. The amenities total approximately a little over 12,000 square feet. In terms of parking, the hotel will be providing parking. In the first level, there will be 5 parking spaces. The entrance to the hotel is only off of Imperial Highway, not Grevilla. Grevilla would only be used for a service entrance for the hotel amenities that they need, right, to serve the hotel itself. But patrons of the hotel will be entering and exiting from Imperial Highway. On level 2, there are an additional 75 parking stalls. And as you can see, 40 of them are double stacked. That means that they'll have those parking elevators. So that's why if you count the number of parking spaces, you can't count 75 because 40 of those will be double stacked. Okay, so there's 1 standard, there will be 24 compact, and 10 spaces are valet spaces. In terms of the floors, on the first floor, you will see that that's where the 5 parking spaces are. There is a 10-foot setback all around where the residential areas are, right behind it to the south. So there is a 10-foot setback all around the hotel on the south side and the east side. And on that first level is where you find the lobby, the check-in area, and some of the staff offices. And the service entrance for the hotel, which is off of Grevilla, as I had mentioned. In terms of the floor plans, level 3 will consist of 18 guest rooms and a few other guest amenities, including a pool and fitness area, which is on the 3rd level of the hotel to the south. And you'll see that a little bit more clearly in one of the renderings for the elevations. Levels 4 and 5, each of those floors will consist of 30 guest rooms, and of course the elevator to access those guest rooms. In terms of the landscaping, as you saw from the site conditions that are there currently, there is nothing there except for those 2 buildings and a vacant lot. So they are proposing landscaping, a variety of trees and shrubs throughout the hotel. And this is what they're proposing, as you can see from there. And also on the 3rd floor, where the pool is located, there are going to be some trees and shrubs, some landscaping. And that will also help to set it back a little bit more. Variety of landscaping, I don't expect you to read every single one, but it just shows you there's trees, shrubs, a lot of color, drought-tolerant plantings, and they are being very generous with all of this throughout surrounding the hotel. In terms of the renderings, as you can see, the first view you see on the top there is the north elevation. That's off of Grevilla Avenue, and that's where the entrance is to the hotel. Sorry? Imperial, I'm sorry, not Grevilla, Imperial. Imperial. The bottom rendering is the south elevation, and that's what will be seen from the properties next door to this hotel. Here is the overall rendering of the hotel from Imperial and Grevilla, and then some side views. As you can see on one of the renderings here, you can see that 3rd level. That is where the hotel pool will be located. Okay. And that concludes my presentation. It is important to note that there was an analysis done with CEQA, and we do have the consultant here if you have any questions, which the hotel was reviewed to make sure that it met the categorical exemption for an infill project. Therefore, in accordance with those results and the design of this hotel, which is what is before you, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt the notice of exemption, PC Resolution 2025-07, which approves the design review application DR 2023-0020 for this boutique hotel.
Okay, thank you for that. Does the Planning Commission have any questions of staff?
I do. I have some questions. With the parking, in the double-decker parking, and you say that only 5 are valet spaces.
10.
Oh, did I hear?
It's five on the first level,
And then,
and then
how are we working that? Are those all for valet? Is there an attendant?
There will be an attendant, and the valets will assist with parking those vehicles in
Okay.
those spaces.
So it's just for valet, though?
I will refer that to the representative. I believe they are, just for
Great.
ballet,
Okay. Yeah, thumbs up.
because
Ballet.
they won't
Yeah,
allow the
that's why I was curious.
patrons to operate
When I heard it was
those.
only 5, that's why I was like, huh, how is this going to work? But then I heard it wrong. My apologies. No further questions.
I want to discuss actually the setbacks.
Mhm.
Well, thank you, first of all, to give us something on that. I just have a question. I know you said it was the east. I thought it was the west. The setback, can you go back to the setback if you don't mind with that picture? So it's going to be to the south and to the east?
Let me go back, right there. To the south, and then on the east side.
What's going to be the setback right to the north of that? What's the setback on that? Just the normal what we have?
To the north, the one facing right at Grivilla,
Imperial,
I mean, an Imperial.
yes.
I believe it is 5 feet, yes. 5 feet. It's
5
so
feet.
tiny on my screen, sorry. It's 5 feet
Okay,
with landscaping.
okay.
So in commercial lots, the municipal code requires a larger setback when it's adjacent to residential.
Yes.
That's why it's 10 on the east and the south.
No way to put more than that, huh? No.
It has rolling repercussions, and everything has to get redesigned, so.
Okay. No,
I-
I'm very grateful. I mean, anything. Appreciate it. Do I really appreciate that? A lot of people appreciate that. And let me see here. The pool, where the pool is, how high is that wall where the pool is located?
I will have to have the applicant's architect,
Okay.
because he knows all of those. I can pull up the plans,
Yeah,
though, but
okay.
I'm sure the architect knows.
Sounds good.
well, yeah,
I just wanted to know how high, yeah.
yeah.
That'd
You
be
can
good.
save that
For you.
for questions for the applicant. I had because I still had questions for staff. So, oh well, I don't want to stop you there.
No, go ahead.
You're good. Okay. So, can you go back to the picture where you can show where you were showing the current lot conditions?
Oh, yes. Let me go back, hold on. There.
Okay. So as you see at I'm not the best with the north, south, east, west, but the line that is closest to the residential there is the, what do you call it? The landscaping that's being proposed, is that going to be tall enough to be like privacy providing for the residents the folks that are living back that way?
There are some trees proposed in that area. Let me go to the landscaping portion. So that's where a lot of the trees are being proposed, correct?
Okay. So
And so as you can see how they highlighted dark? So those are some of the trees. There's 3 types of trees that they're proposing. And the details are further in the landscape plans, but those are where the trees are going to go.
okay.
And they are pretty tall, at least 25 feet.
Okay.
20 to 25 feet, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And then, given the proximity to residential here, is there a dust, noise, and otherwise nuisance mitigation plan in place for the construction period of this for the residents that'll be there?
There are mitigation, there are things within our code, the municipal code, that the contractors do have to abide by while they are constructing, including hours of construction. So
Right.
those are already within our municipal code.
Those are within the code
Yes.
and thus like agreed to
Correct.
as we come along? Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
They're non-negotiable.
Perfect. Okay. So then the question here, I think something you mentioned that was really interesting is that you had a CEQA consultant that was a part of this. Was this at the applicant just decided to do this time, or was this a?
So the applicants did decide to make sure that they had all of the environmental analysis done. Part of it is because we were trying to, not trying, but one of the categorical exemptions is an infill project, and it has to meet certain requirements. So therefore, the analysis assists to make sure that it does meet, and we can utilize that infill categorical exemption for CEQA.
So with this project, we would say that CEQA analysis was a requirement in order to get here, or was this still something that the applicant could have chosen not to do?
That's not an applicant's decision, that's the city's decision.
Okay.
And it is based in part on hotels being regularly challenged on CEQA right now by a number of different groups. And I don't know why they didn't bother with this one, maybe it's too small. But we're always anticipating that. So in order to justify the categorical exemption that we chose, we had the consultant prepare certain technical studies, just so that we would be ready in case we were challenged. The alternative would be to go through without it, and then if you're challenged, you get sent back to start.
See, Greg, you read my mind because that's exactly why I asked the question. And so thank you so much for clarifying. I think I'm good for staff, and we'll ask anything else of the applicant. But thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
All right. Is the applicant present, and do they wish to speak? All right.
Good evening to the commission. Appreciate your time tonight, hearing our project. And Maria, thank you for the excellent presentation. My name is Tom Bergerson. I'm with AO. We're an architectural firm based in Orange, California. I think Maria did a great job describing the project. I'll just clarify a couple of things. The parking is valet parking. And so your question about the first floor, that's a staging area. So if you're a guest, you will pull in off Imperial Highway. There'll be a valet attendant that would take your car from the point that you leave it at the what we would call the porte cochere. And then they would bring the car up to the second floor. And then the second floor has the stackers. So half the cars would be parked on the slab of the second floor, but there's stackers that actually elevate the car and you could park a car under it. So that's going to require the valet parking. So the guests would never go up to the second floor driving their own vehicles. It would be driven by a valet attendant. And so the guest experience is all on the first floor. As far as your arrival experience, you pull in on the right side, and on the way out, it's coming back the other way. And so both the entrance and exit is on Imperial Highway. And then the other point I wanted to clarify on the pool deck, there was a question about the height of the wall. Mm-hmm. So the height of the wall from the finished grade of the deck will be at 5 feet. And then there's landscaping that goes up even higher than that, like a dense shrub, an evergreen shrub. So we're aware that that's something that we should be sensitive to, so that if you're on that pool deck, you have a wall that's basically at this height, and it's a planter that's very wide, and then it has shrubs on top of that. So you would be standing back, and you're not able to see down into the homes that are to the south. They're small backyards, and I think there's 5 or 6 homes there. Some of those homes have what we call hip roofs, so they come down, and the bottom of that hip roof is very close to the wall. So I think there's probably not that big of an issue anyway, but we want to be sensitive that not just what's there today, what might be there 5, 10, 20 years from now. So that deck is pushed back 10 feet. It's got a 5-foot wall with evergreens on it, so there's no way that any of our guests would be able to see down into the backyards. And then also there's a condition of 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. is when we're allowed to have guests on that deck. So I don't have anything else to say. I think Maria did a great job describing it, but I'm here for any questions that you might have.
Got it.
Well, going back to the pool real quick, can you do me a favor? Can you pull up where the pool is on that rendering? I had bad pictures, and sometimes I can't even see
Got it.
a whole bunch of stuff on here. The rendering that has the visual pull just looks. The other one, keep on going. It's where the landscaping was. The landscaping, one more. Yeah, well, that's fine. Okay, so on the other side where the house is facing the residence. So, okay, so people can go around that pool on the opposite side. And then you're saying it's going to be 5 feet tall?
Yes.
And then there's going to be some extra vegetation on the top of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that? Well, the finished floor is at 28 feet, so you'll be standing at 28 feet. The wall goes up to 33 feet, and then the vegetation that's in that landscape wall will go up another couple feet. And so your eye level is going to be
Got it.
below the height of the evergreen shrub. You can see out and up, but you can't see down. Because you'll
Okay.
be pulled back because it's a wall that's basically a double wall because it's a planted wall. And it's got a height to it so that you can't see down. And then it's going to be planted with evergreen shrubs. And then in the 10-foot setback, we have trees in addition to that on the grade level.
Okay. I just have a question for staff after this.
We'll get to that
Okay.
one at the end.
I'm good.
Any questions for? Okay. Last question, just for the total height, top of the building. So for the, let's say, folks that are staying in the top floor of the hotel, would we have mitigation for them seeing down into other rooms, or would that same planter wall be able to protect for that same view?
That planter wall will help with the deck, but the hotel, the third, fourth, and fifth level is pushed back, so it's just one continuous massing. And so there are some rooms that would be up at the third, fourth, and fifth level that look to the south. That's correct.
Okay. And those rooms that look to the south would potentially have a view that will look down towards those houses?
Correct. They could see down, yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for me. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone who wishes to address the Planning Commission on this item? I got one. Any? Sorry, I'm looking at you in the orange because I know you said it was on the agenda. I'm hoping it was this one. It's the next one. Okay, cool. I don't want to skip you. That's all.
Good afternoon, everyone here. I'm Lely Fernandez. I am from North Hawthorne Community Association, and that is right in the area where I reside, and we're very active in that area. I welcome the idea of a hotel. It's definitely better than the Eyesore Hotel across the street. Maybe bring more economic potential. But my concern has always been parking. Okay, I understand there are 80 parking spaces, 79 rooms. Is that the parking spaces for the staff? Is it for the guests that are there? Are we going to have an overflow onto the residential areas? Because that's going to impact North Hawthorne even more than we already are. Delivery trucks, what time are they going to be? I know the entrance is going to be on Imperial, but is that including delivery trucks? Are they going to be on the residential area? What times will they be coming? With the multiple vehicles coming and going. So my main concern is the overflow will spill into already impacted residential streets. And I want to also address the loitering. We already have loitering with vagrants in the area and some noise. Will the hotel keep that to it? Will they also make sure that that does not happen in their immediate area, not calling more loitering attention to, because we're right there where the bus stops is at, and we have a vagrant hotel across the street. Thank you very much. My concerns. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. There. Okay.
Yes.
So if others have spoken, we can, applicant or staff would like to respond.
Maria, is there a condition related to deliveries?
There is not a condition related to deliveries. There's a condition in terms of utilizing the pool area, the deck area, but nothing for deliveries.
Then I would recommend that you consider that when you make the motion, that the delivery or the service entrance is on Gravilla, which is a residential street, so it would be a very appropriate condition of approval. With regard to parking overflow, this is a very difficult situation because this hotel is within a half mile of the Green Line station, and by law, we can't request any parking at all. So we're grateful that we're getting 78 spaces.
80.
80 spaces. Yeah, you're right, 80 spaces. That's a law that's been in effect for about 2 years now. I don't think anybody's crazy enough to build a hotel with no parking, thankfully. But I will say that a significant portion of the guests may be arriving by Uber, Lyft, taxi, etc., so they won't need parking, and that should be enough to accommodate staff. Can't promise, but that's the thought behind it. But regardless, we can't require parking. So not only that, but how the parking is proposed is a little bit beyond our reach too. So I mean, we support this stacked parking because it's all valet parking, and that's just fine because people don't even need to know if their car's on the top or the bottom. They'll never know, you know. So just might take a little longer to move the cars around. That's all. I don't have anything to say about loitering. We're hoping that we can improve the clientele in this area so they won't be like the one across the street from this, and that they won't be loiterers, unless they're looking for local businesses to patronize.
Okay. All right, the applicant, did you want to respond to anything, or okay?
I think you hit upon some great points. The parking for a hotel nowadays, whether it's a resort or you know, a local hotel, boutique hotel, we're finding a high percentage of guests are coming, as you stated, via Uber, shuttles. We're close to the airport. You do have the Green Line there, and so it's not a concern to ever have 100% of your guests arriving with their own car. So what we're finding, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, that maybe only about 3/4 of the people that are coming actually have a car. And I think that might even change more in the future. So I feel like we're overparked. And then the staff, a lot of the staff takes public transportation that we're finding with the hotels, the people that work at the hotels. So I think we're fine on the parking. So there should be absolutely no need to park off-site on the street in the neighborhood. And we understand there is an existing parking problem there. As far as the deliveries, yeah, we could set a time as far as to restrict the loading and deliveries. A hotel of this size does not have very many shipments, loading, deliveries at all. And the vehicles are usually smaller. They're not semis, they're smaller trucks. And they're there for a short amount of time. So if there's a time limit that's part of a city ordinance, we can abide by that, or if staff wants to assign something as part of the condition, we'd be open to that. But we definitely don't need any 24-hour services. You know, there's nothing in the evening, early morning, late night, nothing of that sort needed for this type of hotel.
That actually bring up a question. I'm sorry, didn't ask before. For this particular hotel, are you planning to have like events, live things, or anything that might constitute like excess noise or things of that nature? Like no live performances or like, you know, event space for us to hang around?
There's a small meeting room, but it's more for like a boardroom that's, you know, for 8 to 10 people. That's inside. There's nothing designed for any outdoor amenities other than just relaxing at the pool.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. McLean, are there any documents to place into the administrative?
I have a question
Oh,
still.
sorry.
Sorry. I still.
Oh, no, you're good. Go for it.
Sorry. Going back to the pool in that wall facing south. I see that it's only 5 feet.
That's the height, yeah.
Yeah. It can't be higher, but, well, this is the question I have. The vegetation is going to go on top. Can we kind of put it where it's kind of almost mandatory to put to make sure that's always there. Like if they make a decision, say, you know what, let's just take off all this vegetation on this side.
Yeah, you can
I
do
just
that.
want to make sure that it's high enough,
Yep.
and that's my concern. But if we don't put a CUP on there, I would recommend it to be like maybe 5.5.
Well, I
or
think
6 feet.
the more important dimension is the width, because if it's a 4-foot wide planter, you really can't see anything. You can imagine the angle of your eyes above the
I'm
5 foot
5'9".
rim. Yeah,
But-
so you've got
so-
9 inches, and then going out 4, you're
Right.
gonna look into somebody's third floor, and nobody has a third floor.
Okay.
So I think that the width is really the key there rather than the height.
Okay, so
But
it's
the-
safe to say that.
Yeah, I feel very comfortable that this isn't
Comfortable.
going to be a problem. But with regard to the vegetation, if we don't already have a condition that states that it has to be maintained in the condition that was approved, we can add something like that for sure.
Okay, well, it's not about the vegetation being there, it's about just make sure you cover it up.
Yeah.
Where someone from, from the pool side can't really see to the neighbors.
Right.
And then so forth, just,
Got it?
so.
Yeah.
That's just my concern, if we can just make sure that we can always have some type of vegetation there, bushes or something, on that particular side of the wall, that'd be great. As long as it's more than, it says 5, if it's 5 feet, just something that is more than 6 feet, so I guess more than a foot. If we can have just
Yes.
a foot minimum,
Okay.
that'd be great. And no more questions for me.
Okay. Any other questions for staff or the applicants? Hearing none, okay. Mr. McLean, were there any items to place into the administrative record?
No, there were not.
Okay. Fellow commissioners, do we have any final comments or questions for staff?
Thank you for the setbacks. Appreciate that. I'm pretty sure the neighborhood appreciates that. And that's it, really. Appreciate it. I think they did a beautiful job on I see in a lot of hotels. Hotels are my second home in a literal sense. So even seeing 80 parking spaces, I've seen a lot less, but looking at the way it's designed and looking at the rooms and overall, I don't see a problem really with parking, but that's just my opinion. That's it. And thank you.
Okay.
No, I have no further questions.
Okay. So Greg, I have questions questions for staff for this one, just to make sure that we're doing the conditions correctly. So number one is just we want to have the condition that Commissioner Cohen said of maintaining it in the condition that it was approved.
Yes.
I think is that the appropriate language for us to do
Yeah,
that?
we'll work it out later.
Okay.
But we understand your direction, and the condition will reflect that.
Okay, so we had that one, and then the time,
The
the time for the
delivery time
deliveries?
restriction, yes.
Okay, perfect. And then just a question, is it outside of our purview to say we would have the deliveries all come in off of Imperial and not go through on the Gravela side, or are we going to?
I don't know that entryway is designed for that, and it would be taking them to the wrong part of the building.
Gotcha.
It would actually become an interference with the
Become more
guests.
of an, okay.
Yeah, so-
Gotcha. Okay, understood. All right, well, so when we're making this motion, though, do we need to state those, or do you guys got them for the conditions?
You would just make the motion to approve with the 2 new conditions that were described.
Gotcha. Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, we gotta
Oh,
move.
let me
Do
see.
I have a
I was
motion?
going to do it, but you can do it.
Okay, motion to approve with conditions of making that south wall, you can keep it at 5, but
Yep.
make sure it's more than a minimum of 5 feet, which is vegetation.
Yep.
And the
Delivery.
delivery as well.
Okay.
Motion to approve, yeah.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. Vice Chairperson Cohens,
Approve.
Commissioner Houston,
Approved.
and Chairperson Richard.
Approved.
Okay.
All right.
Your application's approved.
Perfect.
Next item is the design review application DR 2023-0021. This is 11410 Menlo Avenue.
Okay.
We're going to be asking that this item be continued to the meeting of July 16th.
Are you okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Did you have a question? Because I know you were like,
Oh, no. No, he's here for that one.
Oh.
That's why I was like, oh, and now we're gonna continue. Yeah, I'm like,
Well, yeah.
can I still open should I not, or
You can explain why we're continuing it, and then I would recommend that since there are people here, that we open the public hearing and
Yeah.
take the testimony, but we're not closing the public hearing, we're just continuing it. So-
Right, okay. Did you want to explain real quick why it's being
Yes,
continued?
actually, I was out ill. So due to a lack of time for me to make sure that I gave that application the attention that it actually requires and needs, we are requesting for it to be continued.
Okay, so that means, just as to be aware for the public here, that means that the next time, once this is continued, there will be a staff report. You have a full analysis of what to decide or would like to see about it. So you guys are here, you spent the time.
Please.
More than willing to open if you'd like to speak, but if you would like to come back and speak with the, after they've given the report, if that
Or both.
works, or
both,
both.
yeah.
You can do both, whichever makes more sense for you.
Please know that whatever you say here does go to the public record, and it will be something that we will review, and it's in the minutes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go lost knowing that it's being delayed. So it's up to you. But we'd love to hear from you since you're here.
Okay, if you guys are up for it, cool. Then let me run through this, and then we'll get you there. So now is the time and place to open the public hearing to consider design review DR 2023-2021. I'm assuming we
No
won't
staff
have
report.
the staff report.
No staff report.
The applicant was not present. Anyone who wishes to address the commission on this, please make a line, and we'll hear for it.
Hi, I'm Francis Doyle. I live at 11409 Oxford Avenue, which is directly behind this property. Some of the questions were brought up. There's already an issue with parking in the neighborhood. Yeah, I heard you said you can't require the parking. We've already have the hotels on the corner of Hawthorne Boulevard. The residents, people that are staying at those hotels are not utilizing that parking, and they're already parking in the various neighborhoods around there. So during the day, we can't find any parking at our place, and everyone's walking down to the hotel or going to the sporting events up the street. There is an issue with vandalism in the area where there's an easement between our property and the adjacent property where the telecommunications are located. And we've had to block that easement off because it got used as a latrine and a dump. I've sent comments in. And we've had that wall behind our place is 6 foot, and then there's an 8-foot fence behind that one. Both of those walls continually get jumped by people deciding they need to get into our shed or a neighbor's backyard to get tools or whatever they want to get. So a 5-foot wall doesn't really stop somebody from going over the top. It may block view. The other concern is there's already a hotel that's stalled at Hawthorne, right between Hawthorne and the just east of Hawthorne Boulevard. It's got the Dens glass up. It's had Dens glass up for going on over a year and a half now. They get 2 months of construction and they stop, and then they get 2 months of construction and they stop. Is this going to be another case of, hey, now we have a construction site that's going up and it's just stopping? There's already there's a hotel at Prairie and Imperial. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 hotels, and now we're going to add a 5th right along that stretch between Prairie and Hawthorne Boulevard, plus the ones on the north side where they're utilizing them for other activities. There's one more. Those are the big questions about what's going to happen. Is it going to push through? I'm a public works construction inspector. You can have all the noise ordinances you want unless you actually enforce them and have somebody show up. They're not going to follow them. I see it every day with every construction site I drive past. They dump their stuff in the street. They mix the plaster in the roadway. It's happening at the adjacent property. They mix it up. They dump it in the storm drain. They dump it in the street, and then you have problems. Along with that, that lot was used as a car repair center, and we know that oil's been dumped over the back wall from that car lot. Will anyone be cleaning that stuff up as part of that project? Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
A little short. Sorry about that. My name is Carla Lima, and I'm here with my neighbor, Rosa Mitchell. We actually live right on Menlo Avenue. So my house is first, and then so I'm two places down from the actual two buildings, and then the lot is right in the corner of Imperial and Menlo. I could say I've lived in Hawthorne since 1981. This is my actual childhood home, and I've seen a lot of buildings going up on my street. Parking, that is my concern as well, is the parking. We've had looters. We've had people from that one hotel that's right on Hawthorne, on Imperial Highway and Prairie that is built in the corner. We get a lot of those folks parking on our streets. Parking is really bad. On our street, we could only park on one side. That's it. So, and we have a lot of apartment buildings. We also see folks from 2 blocks down coming to park on our street. So I'm just really concerned about the parking space and also the clientele. I am all for big businesses here in Hawthorne, believe me. We want to make Hawthorne a good place, right? We want to invest in good businesses and welcome them. But I think another, like the sir was saying, another hotel in the area is just not feasible for me, for our community and our children as well. The noise on top of that. SoFi is wonderful, great business because it brings Inglewood and Hawthorne a lot of businesses, which is great, but we get all of that as well, okay? Because to me, it's, I would have to see what they have in store of when it comes to the noise, when it comes to the parking. I know the building before, they were speaking about the stackable. The organization that I work for, one of our health centers, has those stackable things, which are great because they save. I'm all for that. So listening to what they propose when it comes to parking is very, very important. Thank you. I don't know if
Thank you.
want to add.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
More.
How are you? Good evening. I'm glad they're mentioning the topic of parking. Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Ruben Sanchez. I'm with the North Hawthorne Community Association. Whew, I was running. I was kind of going up and down. I'm glad they're bringing up the topic about parking. You know, this has been a big passion of ours, and I wanted to mention to some of the residents here. We have been in talks with the Awad family and Tom, the individuals that were here. They're going to look into it and basically help the residents in regards to preferential parking for the future, because we need to reserve parking in our area. A lot of you that don't live in the area don't understand the concern. The biggest concern is because of a lot of the, mechanic shops and other areas, people that sell vehicles. They'll park the vehicles there and they'll leave it there until the next street sweeping. That was the biggest issue. And then if they come and mark it, they'll say, yeah, I called law and parking enforcement. They'll kind of brush you off from time to time, especially if it's the same person or another person, concerned residents, concerned homeowners. Those kind of shine them off for the same reason that they know by the time they get there, they're going to move it by the next week or so. So it's been an issue, and we need to address the parking issue. And I know that Planning Commission can only do so much, but as you know, the city's growing with more businesses, with more hotels, and but the residents, we still have the same amount of residents, still the same amount of homeowners, and we do need our parking. It's crucial to enforce the preferential parking throughout North Hawthorne for the simple fact because we are the border of Inglewood, Lenox, and into Adomin, and we're having a lot more traffic in that area, especially with people parking in our area so they can go to their venues. We have a lot, instead of paying them $100 and into a dome, they'll rather get an Uber for like $20 in our area, and that's a big concern, you know, and you know, that's something that I know the council don't like to listen to, even though people come. As you can see, without even knowing them, they came talking about the parking is one of the, I know there's other things about noise and so on, but it's just going to get worse in our area if we don't have our parking. It is crucial. I'm sure Holly Glenn's going to have an issue with that whole stadium later on in the future. I talked to one of your neighbors before, and they kind of like,
oh, wait a minute, you're right. And I go, yeah, you're going to have a lot of outsiders for sure. Holly Park, I'm not so sure. No, that's a little bit different. But other than that, that's something that I hope you can help us with in the future. And I know the zoning and the ordinances are just already made up for a certain amount of parking, or you can't change them up or so. But in the future, we have to start talking more about this, because if not, you're pushing out the homeowners in our area, and that's something we do not want. If anything, we want more homeowners. We want more lifelong renters in our area, people we can know for years, get to know our kids and so on. That's what a community, a family community is all about. And if not, we're just going to have these, what we call in North Hawthorne, the drive-by renters. They'll just be there for a year, 2 years, and then take off. We don't want that. We want to carry on with our community, with our families. So if not, well, that's kind of like what I have to say. Like I said, the Awad family is willing to work with us as well. We have been talking to other businesses, and they're willing to work to at least like an overnight no parking. This way, people don't just leave their vehicles there for days, I'm sorry. So if not, I'm going to come back with a group of teenagers, angry teenagers, to see if we can move everything. All right, have a good night. God bless you.
Thank you, Ruben.
Sure. All right. Is there anyone else who would like to address the Planning Commission on this issue? Hearing none, I will. No, we're not closing the public. We're not closing the public.
Yeah, we're not closing it.
Not closing anything.
We do need a motion.
So
and
we're going to make
second
a
vote.
motion to continue this item to the next Planning Commission.
A motion?
Yes, I second. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Houston,
Yes, move it,
Okay.
I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Continue, yes.
Vice Chairperson Cohens,
Yes, to continue it.
and Chairperson Richard?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll continue this public hearing on July 16th.
All right. Administrative items,
Nothing?
items for future agendas,
Nothing for sure.
commissioners' reports.
I'll let her start first.
I'll go. Thank you for all of you that have come today. I appreciate you being here and having your voice be heard. I agree with parking, as Ruben said. When the whole stadium that's going up in Holly Glen is something that we're talking about, and we know that permit parking is something that is on the agenda for that, but residents don't want it. So we have to try to figure out a way. Non-overnight parking is something definitely to consider, because it keeps people, that those businesses don't park cars there all night to take up spots for the residents. So again, it's an all of Hawthorne issue that I think needs to be resolved, but it is something that I hear for the July 16th meeting for us to talk about and get down and dirty and see how we can help resolve it. If not neighborhood by neighborhood and piece by piece, we can come up with different things, as well as all of the stuff that you're hearing about the cleanup and what's happening and what's going on. So again, all of these things have been heard, and I took down a ton of notes so I do not forget for next time when this is brought up, if you all cannot attend again, to hear the staff report and so on. So again, thank you. I appreciate it, and I hope everyone is looking forward to a holiday on Friday. Forever how we want to celebrate that, of what it means to us and how we want to celebrate it for that day on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Again, thank you for coming. Thank you for making your voices heard. We actually appreciate the idea that residents do come and express, how it is on, different places and so forth, because, we only can see so much. So when someone comes out here, explains, hey, this is my situation, stuff like that, we can actually look at it and say, oh, okay, this is a problem, let's look at this. Also, I guess, we did have some youngsters, some citizens come up to us asking for some help. I'm being careful how I say this.
I saw the flyer that they left. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Oh.
So as the planning department, I like to do what I could do with the platform that I hold. And if we can maybe put something on the agenda or something on a recommendation for the city council for like a resolution or ordinances from the city that prohibits city resources from being used for immigration enforcement beyond SB 54, for instance. I'm not saying let's do that. I'm saying that we can just talk about it, put it in as an agenda item, and see what the city can do, because we want to make sure that Hawthorne constituents have confidence, we want to make sure that, how would I put it?
We can do what we
That
can
we
do.
don't lose, that the city doesn't lose confidence with our constituents.
The other way around.
Yeah, the other way around, I'm sorry, yes. You know, we want to make sure, you know, because we have a great police force, for instance, and we want to make sure that we maintain that.
Yeah.
We don't want to lose that. So I think, you know, transparency and so forth, that we just let them know, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we can do, you know.
Yeah, there isn't much that we can do because of preemptions and such, but we don't cooperate with them anyway. There's no need to. And as you know, the police don't because they're not permitted. Well,
Correct.
they're not even subject to our zoning, just like the city's not. So
Yeah.
it never comes up. There's not much we can actually do. Not that we wouldn't want to. I think everybody's pretty much unanimous that this is atrocious and we need to do something about it. But
Correct.
Planning Commission may not be very helpful, unfortunately.
Correct.
But if you
But
want to
we can just give a
propel the
recommendation.
dialogue, that's
just,
fine.
Yeah, just the dialogue, transparency is what I'm looking for.
Yep.
And recommendations, because, you know, we only can do so much as the planning department goes.
Got it.
That's it.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for being here again. Appreciate y'all for sticking around. I'm sorry the item got continued and didn't come up right in the same way, but I hope you all will manage to come back again when we have the full report, so you maybe get some more granular questions answered and stuff like that when we have time to go through everything. Again, like I said, appreciate everyone being here. Yeah, to your point, Ruby, I think there was something that was publicized a few days ago that the city is making a response about that. They talked about, specifically, there was a statement released about the things that the city does and where we engage. So I think the city has actually heard and is trying to do something, which is what we've been asking for. So I would say we appreciate that part, but obviously we'll pay attention to see how we move forward from there.
Yep.
To your point, everybody enjoys the day off on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your time, and then we will see you all back here on the 16th.
Thank you, everybody.
Yep.
Thank you.